Nobody really knows. Okay, I'm trying to choose my words. I hope Pastor Joel is agree with me. Nobody really know where was the site of crucifixion. Okay, that's the simple answer. We don't really know. My own personal opinion, if it was really important, we would have known. Right. Now today, there is the classic or the traditional, which is from the Antonian fortress to the location of the Holy Sepulchre Church. Okay? But when the Protestants came over here on the second half of the 19th century, they looked down on those Catholics. They thought they don't understand anything. You know why? Because they thought that the Holy Sepulchre Church cannot be the place of the grave of Jesus, because it's inside the city walls. And we know for sure that they never crucified people in the holy city, just outside. And they never buried anyone in the holy city, just outside. So it couldn't be the place. They didn't know what we know today, that actually this wall, that the scholars call it the third wall of the Second Temple time, the third wall, this one, was actually built after Jesus' time. So the Holy Sepulchre Church in Jesus' time was indeed outside the city walls. Okay? But because of that, they disqualify it. And they thought, what could be the place? And they found another place which called the Garden Tomb. Right over here. Don't get me wrong. Both are good possibilities. Both outside the city in Jesus' time, on a high hill that may look like a skull, next to the main road, next to the main gate, okay? But we really don't know. To make it more complicated, and I'm sorry, sometimes that's the way things are, there is a new evangelical Via Dolorosa. Scholars are going from Herod's the Great Palace. This is those two buildings up there. And the idea behind it is, why to take the governor to see the prisoner? Maybe they took the prisoner to see the governor. So maybe the trial was actually here. To summarize what I just said, you can think about it that you have today two possibilities to the site of crucifixion. Either the Holy Sepulchre Church or the Garden Tomb, and two places for the place of the trial. Either the Antonian fortress or Herod's the Great Palace. 2 multiplied by 2 give you 4 options to the way of the cross. The Catholics are doing from here to here. The Protestants are doing from here to here. And some people doing it from there to there. And maybe all of us wrong. Okay? I know some people believe that the crucifixion was actually on the top of Mount of Olives. So we really don't know. After saying all that, I wanted to have a sit and I want to say a few words about crucifixion itself. It's not only super painful, super humiliating, and super long suffering on the cross. The main thing about crucifixion, it's a show. It's a spectacle. And the purpose behind it is to terrorize the people. Okay, there is other ways to do horrible things, but that was a big show. And that's why you do it on a high place next to the main road. So everybody will see it and will be terrorized. And the Romans kept this punishment to the worst kind of criminals. And for 2 well-known judgments, one of them was runaway slaves, and the second one was rebels. You probably know that the Roman society was based on slavery. 25% of the population were slaves, and slaves need to be intimidated. So If a slave ran away and was caught, he would be crucified. If your slave brother ran away and you didn't tell it to your master, you're going to be crucified. If you are a slave and you run away and your wife and kids behind you, they're going to be crucified because of you. And rebels. We're going to talk about it more at the Galilee. I told you today I'm speaking too much. But you know that when Herod the Great, the father died, there was another rebellion that started here at the temple. It's called Varus Rebellion. And when the Roman governor of Syria, Varus, suppressed the rebellion, he crucified more than 1,000 men and women around the walls of Jerusalem. So people from Jerusalem will see them. So when you walk and you see somebody on the cross, you think to yourself, I don't want to be there. I better behave, I will be submissive. So far, the way they did it, after the trial they started the flagellation. And all that as the person is completely naked in public. So it's a public humiliation service. And you do it by the place of authority. And then the victim have to carry the cross, not the whole cross, just the cross beam. And he have to walk through the alleys of the city, which are very narrow and very crowded. And people can do whatever they want to him. Maybe later we're going to read Isaiah 53. It's a public humiliation. Spitting on him, throwing stones at him, hitting him with sticks, and worse things that I don't want to describe. And then he go outside of the main gate, and then on a high place, and everybody will see, they used to nail him to the cross. In Israel Museum in Jerusalem, we found a bone that the nail is still inside. It's only the ankle. The nail is that long from iron, and according to the angle, we can tell you that they crucified people like this, on the side. And the nails, screaming. And again, I'm sorry for those descriptions, but doctors will tell you that we have a lot of nerves over here, but in this point, your entire body weight is hanged on those nails. Now, on the cross, if the person wants to breathe, he have to push himself by the edge of his toes. So we have to keep doing this to expand his chest and to get air in. And you can die on the cross from different reasons, from trauma and losing blood, but mostly it was from suffocation. How long a person can do that? Apparently for quite long. People were strong, and if you have a strong will to live, you can just push yourself more and more and more, and you can survive for a day. Josephus, sometimes for 2 or for 3 days. Josephus, if we believe him, wrote that people can survive up to 6 days on the cross if you give them water to drink. Sometimes, sometimes the jackals and the vultures don't wait for 6 days. If you understand what I mean? And sometimes the Roman soldiers don't want to waste their time, or for different reasons, they don't want to guard the body for the night. So they used to hasten the death of the victims by breaking their kneecaps, or this one over here.
Who, for the joy set before him, endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God.